Good afternoon and welcome to our, July Lunch and Learn. Welcome to the Smart Hub. My name is Elise Hatton and I'm our Smart Hub Business Manager. And as you know, we host these monthly Lunch and Learns to help you, our people in business, learn tips and tricks that you can implement straight away in your business to grow your outcomes, your profits, to make business a little bit easier and more viable. So today we have a very, very special guest, and I'm going to keep the introduction really short so that we can get into the content. We have some really cool content today. We have a very, very special guest in Daniel Johnson. Now, Daniel was our entrepreneur in residence for Turbo Traction Lab program. So he's been in Rockhampton for quite some time. He's from the US originally, a serial entrepreneur, someone who has helped more than 4,000 other entrepreneurs start and grow businesses. So very, very experienced in this field. And he's going to help us navigate our way through asking, the art of asking, and how you can simply ask and move yourself and your business forward. Now, asking sounds like such a simple thing, but I think there is a great framework for you to go from where you want to ask, have the courage to ask, and get to a good outcome at the end. And so Daniel will be sharing all of that with us today. Now, as if you're following our Lunch and Learns, you know that I always say something quirky about the presenter, because I reckon you've read the marketing if you're on this call. But I have nothing quirky to share about Daniel, because he didn't want to share anything quirky about himself with me. He mentioned that he thinks that he's a pretty normal guy, and I think everyone who knows Daniel might or might not disagree with that. But I think that might be his quirky thing, that he thinks he's normal. So without any further ado, Mr. Daniel Johnson, let's get into it. The art of asking.
All right. Thanks, Elise. So, hey, everybody. It's good to be back virtually with a whole bunch of people. If you do have a specific item that you maybe in your business or your personal life are struggling with, or an ask, and you want us to dive into that, just either put it in the Facebook comments and they'll come back to us on the Zoom group. Or for those that are in the Zoom, just go ahead and find the chat feature. If you tap on your screen, I'm on my iPad, if you're on your computer, it'll be at the top, and just throw it into the chat and I'll try to monitor that. So let me go ahead and sort of share a couple things. So one, I am in the region and I do a couple random things. I create awkwardness for people around me because I'm always asking questions. And if you ask my mother, why does Daniel talk so much and ask so many questions? Well, it turns out I didn't start talking until I was 3. And if you ask my mom, it turns out I haven't stopped since. So you can ask her about that, message her on Facebook, really doesn't matter to me. But since then, since starting to talk in complete sentences, I figured out human psychology is a really funny thing. So I do this all the time. If this helps you, I hope it does. It helps me get over some anxiety. I've had some pretty fun results. So one, I saved thousands of dollars every year by just asking people for a discount. The current earbuds that I have on, I got 10% off because I just approached the guy in JB Hi-Fi and I said, there has to be a discount for this, right? The good guy discount. He's like, well, what's a good guy discount? And I said, well, you're a good guy. I'm a good guy. There has to be a discount for that. And then later on, Courtney told me that was the inappropriate thing to say in Australia because there's a competitor to JB Hi-Fi called Good Guy. So that works in the US and abroad, does not work in Australia. So faux pas on me. The best one that someone has told me so far is that I coached them for about 10 minutes on positioning a question to somebody that they were doing a deal with, and they got $6 million more on the deal than what they did before. And then whenever they told me like that, the person immediately said, oh yeah, sure, that's fine. I forgot to tell the person, well, if they immediately say yes, well, you need to increase the ask even more. So that could have been more than $6 million. I had a job myself, my first job after I got my master's in business. I just said, hey, I want to work for this company. And I just kept on badgering them and said, well, what job do you have open? I was like, I'll be the janitor or whatever. And they're like, well, conveniently, we have a receptionist job open. So here I am with a master's in business, and poof, I'm now a receptionist. But I only had that job for about 2 weeks, and they're like, this guy's not, he's a little bit better. We can use him for something else than a receptionist. And then I love awkwardness. Like, I think you should always try to be awkward, because in somebody else's awkwardness, they try to fix a situation and they almost always give something away. So there's reasons that we don't ask. Oh, there's reasons that we ask. A little 2-year-old, 3-year-old, if they're talking, and like what I was, people ask questions to learn, that's how the human society works. So, okay, that's fine. We ask for resources. Hey, I need access to this room. I need access to this car. We borrow our parents' car whenever we're learning to drive, so maybe we don't have it. We ask to borrow library books. There's systems set up exactly for this. Sometimes we ask for discounts. Hey, my budget's only $1,000. You're asking for $1,200. Can we meet in the middle so you save some costing or pricing? And sometimes we ask because we see an opportunity for us to be included. Maybe there's an opportunity for us to serve on a board, change a process. That's great. But then the reason I really ask is because it creates awkwardness and it's a challenge. And I like to push boundaries and buttons, and I would encourage everybody to do that. But there's a reason we don't ask. So I want everybody to go to the chat or go on the Facebook live feed right now. And I want you to give me a gut reaction of why you don't ask for discounts, why you don't ask for someone to make the sale with you. Why don't you ask that person their name at the bar? Do you feel cheap? Oh, is my screen not sharing? Oh, there were beautiful slides too. I'll come back to that. So why don't we do that? So some people are commenting that they feel cheap. Some people are saying that they feel awkward. Some people are saying that they may not know how to do it, they're embarrassed. And you all are exactly right. We do it mainly because, one, we're the fear of rejection, we're embarrassed, but frankly, it comes down that we haven't tried in a process. We're okay asking a teacher, hey, I don't understand this algebra equation. Hey, I don't understand accounting. So we call up for $150 an hour, calling up our accountant, but we think that's okay. Well, why not ask for some of that for free? So I'm going to show you. So the rest of this process, and thanks to those that are commenting in the chat on that, you all nailed it. You're fearful of something, but I'm going to show you that if we practice a process, it's a 6-step process, but it'll be pretty easy to remember. You can get thousands of dollars of discounts. You can push your step to the next process, whatever that is, your sales process, your hiring, whatever it is. So I'm going to show you how I do this in sort of a little funny story, and then we're going to break it down exactly what happened. So number one, ask for something absurd. I just need you to be okay with asking for things that you may not think is natural. It's okay to ask for things because we've got to get okay with making ourselves uncomfortable with asking for stuff. So this is an example of one that I did. So whenever I knew I was going to start traveling internationally, I knew that I needed a better suitcase. So I did a whole bunch of research, and anytime you're in an airport, pay attention to the suitcase that pilots use and the airline stewardess have. And this is it. It's called a Travel Pro Platinum Magna 2 International Expandable Carry-On. That is me. That's what I was going to do. So that's also a little bit of an expensive suitcase. $250 US, that's a lot. So I'm mulling over this. I'm telling my family, and finally my family said, Daniel, either you've got to put up or shut up. We're depositing $100 into your bank account for your birthday. Buy the stupid suitcase or stop talking to us. So I'm like, okay, fine. So I put up, I shut up, I pay the rest of it. And I go through it, and then I keep on seeing these things on some of the websites I go to where people order a pizza and then they ask for a poem or a drawing on the inside flap of the pizza. And I'm like, how do they do that? Oh, they use the comments. And I see it's like the golden goose like calling out to me. I see this comments area. And in it, I just put something stupid, something absurd that no one should ever have humored me with. And I say, draw me a picture of a dinosaur. Okay, a couple of days go by, 2-3 day delivery and whatever. I get the box with this massive suit. Actually, it's not massive, small suitcase. And this is the outside of my suitcase. look at that. Isn't that cute? It's a nice little dinosaur. I asked for a dinosaur. I got a dinosaur. I take a picture of it. I send it to my friends through a group text message. And they're like, Daniel, why do you do this to people? Stop sending us stuff. Okay. A couple of days go by. I finally opened the package to look at my new beautiful suitcase. And here's the packing slip. And there is a second dinosaur. If you've ever seen any of those internet pictures that say T-Rex can't do push-ups because he's got the little arms, they literally made this internet meme and it says T-Rex can't roll spinner luggage. And if you zoom in, that's actually my suitcase in there. And I'm like, this is amazing. I send it to my friends and they're like, stop. I'm like, oh, well, no one likes this joyous. Okay, fine. So then I take it one step further and I post it on Reddit. And I get this message back, and it's Luggage Factory, the company that I ordered this suitcase from. And they say, on behalf of Luggage Factory, we'd like to apologize for the poor quality of your dinosaur with your order. We had our in-house artists make this. That is, again, my suitcase, complete with the little logo and multiple zippers and everything, all because I put one sentence in a comment box. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is fun. And then more messages start popping in. The boyfriend of the girlfriend that processed my order messaged me on this platform. That's how small the world is. I posted a picture out there. Somebody's like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then the more interesting thing is because I asked and Luggage Factory had zero desire or need to humor me with it. I said, well, who are you? How did you find me? And it turns out this guy said, hey, I'm the marketing director. And of course, my startup mind comes out. And I'm like, how did you find me? Found me through some analytics, have analytics on your website. And I'm like, show me a picture. And so this picture on the right, if you take it into Photoshop, that's about a 23% bump in traffic to their website because I posted one picture on social media. So they had to figure out what this blip was, and they had increase in sales. Why did they do it? Because they answered a crazy customer's question or request. So there's a reason that you should entertain people, because sometimes amazing things will happen. To get a 23% bump in your internet traffic, for those that have e-commerce sites, you'll pay thousands of dollars. They did this with a couple hours worth of work, and it was humorous for the employees. So it's okay to ask for whatever. So let's go ahead and go through the ABCs. So the ABCs of asking for you want, they're pretty easy. One, accept that well, first of all, Elise, any questions on that, or you just want me to keep on going? Keep on going. Sometimes I get animated and I forget there's other people around me, so apologize. Put questions on Facebook and in the chat. So the ABCs of asking. One is accept the default. The default is you're going to get nothing. I'm not going to get a picture of a dinosaur. The default of not asking for a discount is you're going to pay full retail price. You're already prepared whenever you walk into JB Hi-Fi to pay that $300 for these headsets. Accept it, go on. That is the worst thing that's going to happen to you if you ask. So accept the default and realize that you're not going to go to jail or be arrested or kicked out if you make that ask. So accept the default and go for it. Number two, be excited and be friendly. If you walk up to the salesperson in JB Hi-Fi or wherever it is that you're going, you're like, hey, can I get a discount? And you're like, not friendly, you're not engaging them, they have no reason to interact with you. Tip the person at JB Hi-Fi doesn't get paid more or less for giving you a discount, but they have 100% of the capability to give you or deny you a discount. So be friendly, be joking around. The way that I always do this, I do it a couple different ways. One is I ask for the good guy discount, but I can't do that at JB Hi-Fi anymore. Thank you, Courtney. So I always ask for the good guy discounts. I ask for the out-of-towners discount. I can pull that off because I don't sound Australian in any way, shape, or form. I always ask for, hey, there's no way that we can do this. So I always make sure that they know they can't do anything. Even big retailers, like we've got a version of Myers in the US, it's called Macy's. And they don't tell you this, but you get an automatic 10% off if you show that your driver's license or passport is not from there. So just be friendly, be excited. If you're excited, it rubs off on them. They want to say yes. So we need to accept that we're not going to get anything. We need to be friendly, excitable. Then I would encourage you to exaggerate a little bit. So for instance, one thing that works out, at least in the United States, is, and I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, what I'm about to tell you, but if you're driving and you speed, which we've all done it one time, shape or form or another, and you get pulled over, and the first question the officer always asks you is, Elise, do you know how fast you were going? And your response should always be, yes, officer, I was going 12. You were actually going 4 over. Officer, I was going 12 over. You need to give me a ticket. So exaggerate a little bit, because they're going to be like, what? You're going to be friendly, excited when you're not being combative, and assume the default is you're going to get that ticket regardless of what you say. So go ahead and exaggerate and see what it. And there's this interesting thing that happens that you want to exaggerate a little bit, because that gives you some wiggle room. They're going to say, no, you're actually going for that. And then you're like, oh, really? Was that it? And then it gives you some wiggle room. So consider exaggerating. Now, this plays into the next point, that you want to design your outcome. And all these play together. If I were getting pulled over, the outcome that I want is, I don't want a ticket because it's going to cost me money. It's going to cost my demerits or whatever else it is. So what I do in this particular case is I'll actually come forward and I'll say, you know what, officer, I was going 12 over. It is everything in your power I deserve the ticket. Give me the ticket. Do you need me to write down my name? Like, how do I help this out? Do you take credit card right now for me to pay it? And then the power dynamic shifts. The only way that this person can exert power over you, because you just told them there's nothing that they can do, is you tell them, give me the ticket, but then they exert power over you by not giving the ticket to you. So it's a little psychology play. But design your outcome, whether that's a discount, whether that's you want them to be a partner, join your board, whatever it is, do the sale, make it super simple for someone to say yes to whatever your question is. And the last thing is, after you figure out the phrases you're going to use, hey, you're nice, happy with the JB Hi-Fi staff, and then you say, hey, I know there's probably no way that you can give me a discount. There's no good guy. Well, can't use that at JB Hi-Fi. I keep on catching myself. That's my default one. I don't feel right about that. Then you've got to actually execute. So our fifth step is to execute your ask. Put it all together. Have those phrases. Anytime I go to a coffee shop, I ask for a large at the regular price. Courtney's seen me do this before, where I'll walk in and I'll be like, hey, it's still buy one, get one free, right? And they've got deer in the headlights and they're like, whoa, wait, no, wait, do we have an order? And I'm like, I don't know, do you? And then they're like, well, I can't give you buy one, get one free or 50% off. And then they give you, like, they'll either upsize you or they'll give you 10% off or something like that. So execute your ask, make it, and it can be really simple. And the last thing that helps the company out, because if they create an amazing customer service experience, is it's your responsibility, since they helped you out, is you want to follow up and share that experience. So if they do delight you with a discount, if they do delight you with doing something above and beyond, giving you a free muffin with your coffee or whatever it is, we'll follow up with them. Leave a Facebook review, leave a Google Maps review, send an email out, send something on Twitter, and you'll be surprised at what happens with that. So the shirt I have right now, this is actually the second exact one that I've bought off of this. The first one had some pillage on it, and I walked into the store in Germany. I bought it a year ago. I didn't have the receipt, and I just went up to the guy and I used this process. I knew there was no way he would help me, and so I just went up to him and I said, hey, John, or whatever it is, I know there's no way you can help me. I bought this shirt. I paid $70 US for it. It's not meeting my expectations for the pillage and whatever. What creative things can we do? And then he's like, well, I'm not supposed to do this, but because I was nice and friendly, and maybe it was my Kentucky accent or something like that, he did a return on it and gave me two new shirts. And then I was like, well, you've got this other color you didn't have before. So because he made me super happy with the other two, I bought the other one. And then I immediately went and I always ask, hey, after somebody delights me with customer service, I always come back and I say, hey, is there any way that I can help you out? Can I speak to your manager? Because managers don't get compliments. They always get the Karens of the world complaining, hey, can I see the manager? This wasn't too hot. Well, take the opposite and say, and I do this on phone calls with banks after somebody's helped me, your electric provider, whoever, the NBN, whoever's helping you out, and just let them know, hey, Lise, you've been so helpful today. Can I leave a message for your boss on how helpful? And the person's like, oh my gosh, you're going to do what for me? And because you follow it through, there's this thing in customer service that happens that they have a kudos file that anytime the manager gets something like that, they almost always get a written notice or something in their file, or they get into a monthly drawing for customer service that went above and beyond. So follow up and share and do something. So there's the process. So again, and let me look at my notes because I wrote them down. A is, and they're A through F, assume that you're going to get the default answer, whatever that is. B, be friendly. Some way, shape, or form, be friendly, be excited. We feed off of each other's energy. Consider exaggerating what you want, because then you can meet in the middle. If you want 50% off, they may not be able to do that, but they still want to make you happy. So they may give you 10% off, 30% off, something like that. Always keep in mind and engineer and design the outcome that you want. Keep that in mind, that if you want to push them a little bit, it's okay whenever you get that first decline or the no, because you've already accepted that as the default. And sometimes I create awkward silences and they'll say, no, I can't give you half off. And I'm like, okay, is there anything else creative we can do? And so you still keep on pushing. It's a relationship back and forth. Execute your ask, whatever that is, and be sure to share and follow up what it is. So out of curiosity, so those people on Facebook and those that have joined us in the chat, has anybody had a really good outcome or experience on this? Wait, Elise, are we allowed to have interactivity during these?
Absolutely. So if you want to interact, just via chat or unmute yourself, and please feel free to speak. And if you're on Facebook, joining us on Facebook, please feel free to just put down your comments in the comment section, and Courtney, who is helping us, will put the comments in the chat so that we can see what the comments are. So yeah, let's interact. Absolutely.
Daniel, we do have a question from Phil as well that I've just put in the chat for everyone to see if you want to have a read.
Yeah. So it looks like Phil says he feels better asking for a discount from a big chain store, but not comfortable hustling a small business owner. So my thing is, one, you've got to be sometimes a little bit selfish, and you're doing this so that you can come back and forth and hone your own skills in asking for things. And I really would encourage you to do this. The default position is no, but they may tell you, you know what, tomorrow we're starting our Mother's Day sale. I'll just go ahead and give it to you right now. They have a mechanism for that, and they only have that banter with people that are friendly and nice. And if that's what it takes to get an item out the door that's full price, is to give 10% off, 5% off, they'll almost always do it. But the default answer is no, they're not going to do it. But what happens if you do that, you then share and follow up and put it on socials, you're actually helping them. So I see nothing wrong with it. They've got margin built into it. And if they do that, you're going to come back and likely give them more business. But again, this even goes into something that I do at restaurants is I figured out that in Australia, if you want to know what the best meal is or the best bakery item, Australian service people will not tell you. If you can't walk up to them and say, and you can do this in the US and in Europe, you can say, hey, what's the best thing on the menu? And then they'll just talk to you. But if you ask somebody here in Australia, deer in the headlights, and they're like, why do you want to know what I want? So I changed that phrase up. And this is experimentation, so you get comfortable with the uncomfortableness and awkwardness. I ask at every bakery, and Courtney's shaking her head because she's like, yes, he does this. I asked a phrase, what should I remember this place by? And that's a beautiful phrase, because then they can say, hey, this is our most popular one, whatever, but you're still going back. And then the real goal with asking these questions or asking for sales or discounts is just to be okay with that conversation. It's not awkward. The default is you're not going to get it. That's okay. Well, try for something better, and you'll be surprised at what the world will give you. So we've got Karen on the call. So Karen, if you want to unmute yourself, you went through sort of my training with this, right? Like I forced you every day for a week to just ask people, and a couple times. What are like some of the simple things you got during this?
I think it was a muffin with a cup of coffee or something simple. Yeah, a few dollars off the taxi ride to the Smart Hub.
Yeah, so really basic things, right? But the first one you were like, oh my gosh, there's no way anybody's going to do this to me, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then you get your first muffin, you're like, what was your reaction after your first muffin? Are you still there? What was your reaction after your first
Politely, I was very excited.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I was pretty excited.
And then you keep on upping the ante. And what's one of the other big things that you asked for? Like you said, like you were saying, hey, I think my product, and Karen sells some amazing freeze-dried goat cheese. Everybody, we'll put her comments in the her call to action in the comments. But you said, hey, I think I need some international sales. And you're like, I don't have the money to pay for the plane ticket, right? So what did I tell you to do?
Yes.
Just ask, right?
Yeah.
So who did you ask?
So I asked the local council here, and said, look, I've been offered a position to go overseas with it, and I can't afford the plane tickets. Do you think you'd be able to sponsor me? And they said yes, $1,000.
So she got $1,000 worth of flights or something like that. And how did she get it, everybody that's on the Facebook or on the Zoom? She just asked. Her default position was she didn't have the money. The best thing that could happen, they may have said, you know what, we don't have the money. But she did an amazing thing where she just asked, and poof, she's got, well, that was pre-COVID, but maybe post-COVID, you'll be able to go to Singapore or Malaysia or whatever it is. But it all happens if you ask. So, and now she's got international people contacting her, all because she's just asking to be on podcasts for the development of her business. And how hard is it to ask now, Karen?
It's easy.
It's easy. And so it took you those first couple times to sort of change. You wanted a chance at competing in the world, and you had to change your approach a little bit, and that's exactly what you were doing. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Karen. So we've got Ben commenting on the chat that he asked for a $5,000 marketing campaign, the outputs of that for $2,500 and he actually got it. He asked for $5,000 off his accounting fee. The big thing is, everybody, if you don't ask, you don't get. And ask for that muffin, ask for that upsize. Businesses are very okay asking you. Think about the McDonald's buying experience. They ask you every time you walk in, they say, hey, how may I help you? That's a question they're asking. They're following a process. You say you want a plain cheeseburger. They're like, okay, would you like a drink with that? They keep on asking you so that you spend more money with them. It's okay to flip that back on them and say, hey, if I order the drink, do I get the fries for free? Hey, if I order the meal, can I get whatever for free? It's okay to ask, guys. The worst case is you're going to get told no. That's a default position. That's not anything bad on you. That's just the process. And I'll share one other thing. So where I am right now in this little studio in Yeppoon, because I've never lived on a beach, so I decided to treat myself a little bit, is I found this studio unit. It's nothing flash. And they wanted $5,500 for 8 weeks of me staying here. And if you ask Courtney or Elise or anybody else I've coached, I hate paying a lot of money for anything. So I asked for discounts. And so here's what I did. This is literally the formula that I used. I automatically assumed, and I told them there's nothing that they could do. So this is the format of the messages that I use. And I do this in person too. And I say, hey there, I doubt there's a way to make it work. I'm currently looking, whatever. I exaggerated that I'd already asked for a unit for $1,300. So I was establishing my baseline. I'm looking for a value target unit for June and July 2020, longer with the price. My goal is to cook a little bit, work remotely, like what we're doing right now, and let me know if there's any flexibility. So I established, hey, here's what I wanted, some messages back and forth, and I let them know I was paying about $240 a week in Rockhampton, internet, everything included. And after a couple messages back and forth, she said, yep, $240 a week. So it went down from $5,500 down to $1,960. I don't know about any of you all, but I will gladly take $3,580 in my bank account any day. How did I do this? I asked. So is it worth me feeling awkward for $3,500? Hell yeah, it is. I will do this any day, anytime. So yeah, there we go. So Lee's questions, banter back and forth, and
yeah, I'd love for everyone to ask questions. Please feel free to jump in either the chat. If you're on Zoom, just unmute yourself and feel free to speak. Or if you're on Facebook, please put your question in the comments, and then we'll be able to answer your question that way. But Daniel, I want to highlight something while we give people an opportunity to ask questions. Really, what I want to know is, what is the benefit of a business owner being good at asking questions in general? Because I think that is what the main advantage is from learning this process. That the discounts and saving money and getting things for free, that's all good and well. But really, when you're a business owner, you need to be comfortable with asking questions all the time of your team, of your customers, of your investors. Can you highlight what you think the benefits are of asking questions? And really, because that's what this process is. This process is about asking in every aspect of your life so that you can become really comfortable with asking questions. And sometimes you have to ask difficult questions, sometimes of your team, sometimes of your investors. Sometimes you have to ask a difficult question of your own self. So if you're in the habit of asking, then though it's much easier to ask those questions. But what do you think the advantage is when you're a business owner to be able to ask?
There's a whole bunch of advantages. So not only are there the discounts or getting involved with the council or chamber of commerce that can help you out with your marketing or whatever else it is. So being included, I would say, ask for a seat at the table anytime that you can and expect it. Give yourself confidence that I deserve to be on the board of the chamber, whatever else it is in your community association, whatever that is. Two, sometimes customers will come into our business or engage with us on our sales process and they're like, nope, I want this. And if you give them that and you execute on it, but it turns out they actually wanted something else and you didn't ask those questions, well, now because you didn't take 5 minutes to understand during the sales process what they were really after, what an ideal solution looks like, what their budget is, you just had them spend potentially thousands of dollars for a solution that doesn't meet their needs because you didn't ask. And then it comes back. Somebody that is disheartened or disillusioned and you didn't meet their needs, they're not going to recommend you. They're not going to post positive things. Whenever they hear your name out in public, they're not going to be like, you know, where you should go is ABC Butcher. I had an example of whenever I lived in Longreach for a year, I wanted to throw an American Thanksgiving. No one sold a big turkey at all, which is like a staple of the American Thanksgiving holiday. So I go to the butcher and I'd use this process. Hey, I doubt you have access to a big turkey. And he's like, well, what do you want it for? And he share how many people I wanted to. He's like, you know what? I don't do this very often, but I can order you in a turkey. So he just didn't say no. He actually, and then he taught me like how a bird is weighed. I didn't know that was a theory, but apparently there is. They're graded. And I was like, well, I can feed that many people on this, but he actually upsold me because he took a couple minutes to understand what I was doing. So that's a little process. But now every time I'm like, go into Savages, he's great. And so the big takeaway is, if you don't ask, you don't get. If you don't ask, you don't understand. And if you don't understand, you can't delight the customer. And if we don't delight customers, they don't come back, they don't refer out, and we're doing this transactional stuff and it doesn't matter. I'm a big fan of asking. Love it.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And if you are the customer and you are asking and you do get something, then that makes you the raving fan. That's what I'm really seeing you say. Is then you're the guy on social media saying, I got this great deal, or I got this great product, or this business is great to deal with, because it leaves you from the customer's perspective as the customer with this really great feeling of getting something extra that you didn't expect. And so you feel delighted, and because you feel delighted, you're way more likely to speak really highly of that business and to return to that business again and again and again. So I agree. Asking is such a fundamental skill. And really what we should be doing is practicing it all the time so that we become comfortable and expect good outcomes when we do ask. And that's what I love about this process. Yep. Okay, questions. Anybody have any questions? Please, if you're on the Zoom call, please feel free to unmute yourself and just jump in and ask, or if you want to pop it in the chat, that's fine too. Courtney makes a really good comment. She says, customer discovery has to become easier the more you ask for feedback on your product or service. Daniel, talk a little bit, if you would, about customer discovery, what that means, and how asking is so important.
Yeah, so a recent stat that I saw, that something crazy like 48% of all Australian new businesses and startups that are trying to figure out how to make it in the world, they fail because there's not a market need. Too often what we see is somebody has this grandiose idea, I'm going to create this app, this service, build this building, do whatever it is, but they forget to ask anybody, is this even a problem for you? So they spend a year and a half designing the solution, put it in the face of their potential customers, and the customers are like, well, that's cute, but it actually doesn't solve the problem. I can see somebody else using it, but it's not me. And then you just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it. So what we encourage and what I teach courses on is, how do you front load that a little bit, and how do you talk to 50, 100? My record is 1,500 people around there that I've talked to about a business opportunity, and I'm doing it right now with my next business. So you have to really know what the customer's pain points are, and then you design a solution. How do you do it? Through open-ended questions. Like whenever I meet somebody or I'm in a meeting, like a Zoom meeting for somebody that I'm being asked to work with, I always ask them, well, what does success look like for our time together today? That's not like, hey, we're going to cover A, B, and C. No, nothing like that. I need to know from them I thought it was point A that they wanted, but they actually wanted J, K, or L. And so I just divert my energy toward that. So I couldn't figure that out if I didn't ask. It's not the Daniel show ever. It's always about, how do I delight this person and meet them where they are and give them the need or the products or the services that they need so that they accomplish whatever their goals are. So ask open-ended questions. I love open-ended questions. They're great.
That's awesome. Thank you very much. Well, I don't think we have any questions. I think you did such a great job in presenting the information. It's pretty clear, and I think the process is really clear. What is the next step, Daniel? What do we do next?
Yeah, so I just remembered that I had this on my desk. So another little tip, so my next business that I'm starting it's called Lolly, L-O-L-L-Y. So it's a really simple way for you to record your stories or books for your kids, and they play back on your smart speakers like Amazon Alexa. And I've been talking to people for a couple months about this, and it's now time for me. I've executed, I've been asking those questions, and now it's time for me to follow up. So one thing I would encourage everybody to do is go to your local store, office supply store, get some just blank cards if you want to. And what I did is I just took my logo and I printed it there in the Smart Hub, because it was less than the 100 pages per month I'm allotted to do the Smart Hub membership. And so I now have these little note cards that I send out to people. Hey, you were helpful being a judge in this pitch competition. Hey, thanks for your feedback, whatever it is. But then I also have some that I printed with my own personalized logo on it. So these are always within arm's reach of me, and they're always in my backpack. So one, make it super easy for you to follow up. Emails are nice. but a lot of people don't get handwritten cards anymore. So take it up to the next level, get some handwritten cards. They're about $8 per 20 pack or something like that. And you can design that. So follow up, note cards, they're great. Ha ha ha. Go to readwithlolly.com if you want to. But here's the challenge, Elise. So here's what I need everybody to commit to is I want everybody over the next 7 days, anytime that you are connecting with people, it could be at a bakery, it could be at a pizza shop, it doesn't matter where it is. I need you to interact with this person and I need you to ask them for something. It could be for a discount. You could say, hey, if you're not at JB Hi-Fi, it could be, hey, what's the good guy discount? Is there an out-of-towner discount? Is there a first-time visitor discount, the first-time customer? Or ask them what's the best thing on the menu. Get into that process of going back and forth. Ask for free stuff. Ask for an upsize. Hey, if I buy it regular, hey, man, hey, girl, you know you can upsize that for free, right? Something like that. Ask for something that's off menu. Now, this is an interesting one. Sometimes if you ask that open-ended question at a restaurant, whenever we can go back and sit down at them, I always ask the server, I always ask the server, not what the best thing is on the menu. I don't ask them the best seller, the most popular, nothing like that. The most interesting thing to ask a waiter or waitress is, what's the last thing you ate here? Now, it's a very interesting question because what almost always happens is they tell you something that's off menu. They say, oh, I had the chef do half of this and half of this. The best one I had was at a barbecue restaurant where the lady, she of course goes through her usual spiel. And I usually, hey, what's the last thing you ate here? And she's like, I'm not supposed to tell you, but I had my chef, I had him take a piece of toast, put macaroni and cheese on it, then brisket and smothered it with barbecue sauce and made a sandwich in it. And she's like, it's amazing. And I'm like, sign me up. I'll have that. Say no more, friend. And I had it. And of course, now we're buddy. She's like, Daniel, what do you think about that? Like, she's excited. She shared something with me because I was friendly, engaged her. Of course, gave her in the US a tip for that. So ask for something off menu. It's pretty interesting. And then the last thing is just ask for help. You may know exactly the answer. You may know that you can reach to that top shelf in the grocery store or Bunnings. Just go and ask for help. I do this one all the time. So I was making some self-watering garden containers, and I wanted to figure out how to irrigate them myself over the December and January holiday. So I just walked into Bunnings and I was like, I need to talk to the plumbing guy because I don't know what I'm doing. So I appeared dumb. He's my savior. I put him up on a pedestal. And I said, hey, man, there's probably no way we can design something that does this. And then sure enough, he's like, man, option number one is about this $300 one. But he's like, you know what I would do? I would do this, this, and this, and it costs $25. So just by asking for help, appearing genuine, you never know what will happen. So yeah, so this is what I need everybody to do. So here's what I want people to do in the Facebook comments and in our chat is I want you to either commit to doing this or something you're going to commit to asking. So it could be, hey, I'm going to ask for a buy one, get one free. So put in the chat or in the Facebook comments what you agree to do over the next 7 days. What ask or what process are you going to try to do? Courtney, I can see your head turning, your eyes going.
Yeah, I'm also going to participate. I'm going to push myself and ask 3 uncomfortable questions this week. I don't know what they are. I'm just wait for the situation to arise, but I will put that on. I am asking 3 uncomfortable.
So Steve, what do you agree to do? You don't have to chat. You can put yourself on unmute if you want.
What do you think, Steve? What are you going to do? What's the challenge?
Stuart, you got anything for us that you're going to agree and try to do?
And again, what I think is so great about this is it's really about practicing asking. That's the whole idea. It doesn't matter if you get a yes or a no. If you get a discount or the free stuff, that's just on, above and beyond what you're really gaining. What you're really gaining is to feel comfortable with asking. Practice asking. What you practice, you get good at, and we need to be good at asking.
Yeah, if you can get into the pattern of every day asking 5 strangers for something, you're going to be a whiz at sales. You're going to be a whiz at customer service. You're also going to notice how people react, and that gives you an opportunity to come back and train your staff. And that's the more interesting thing, is if you find people that do an amazing job at this process or have amazing customer service, you can lift some of the things that they're doing and put it into your own business.
I guess I've got some really great comments. So, Jade, I would love for you to join me. That'll be awesome. Thinking how I could react if someone asks me for a discount. Yeah, that's a good angle as well. Stuart says he's going to ask you for a coffee, Daniel. Awesome, Stuart.
Sure,
Can
go
we all
for
come?
Sure.
I think we all want to come for coffee with Daniel.
So Steve, if you've got a little bit of trepidation, like if somebody says, so Steve, what's your business? What do you do? You're muted. Engineering. So if somebody does ask you for a discount, well, you may say, hey, we're able to do that, but I need, instead of payments in thirds, I need half payment up front. So you can negotiate the term back and forth. Or, hey, if we do that, I need you to refer me to 2 other people. Yeah. Happy to provide with the discount. Can you name your best 3 friends that you would take golfing, or whatever it is? It's okay to go back and forth, because they're probably going to pay you full price anyway.
Yeah.
Or let's say that Steve, do you have kids or grandkids?
Yep.
Okay. So do any of the grandkids play sports?
Not yet. Too young.
Not yet, too young. So you may do something whenever they get to sporting age or something like that. You may say, you know what, I would be happy to do that. But what I need you to do is, my kid plays football, rugby league, whatever. They're looking for a couple donors. Do you think that you could help sponsor the field this year?
Yeah.
So be like, yeah, happy to do that, but you know what? That's going to eat into a donation I was going to make to my grandkids' rugby league. So how about we meet in the middle, and you donate and I both donate, and then it's like a win-win. We both get free advertising out of it. Yep. Just don't think you've got to give your entire farm away. That's okay.
No, I can understand. Yep.
Good. Negotiation. That's all this is it's negotiation for sales. So. What about you, Matthew? What are you thinking?
Look, I think asking for help, and specifically asking for help from some team members, which I find is a great way to delegate, but also enriches, I guess, their learning, and allows me to gauge their capabilities as well.
Cool. Asking for things is fun. I do this every time, and I know this is a numbers game, guys. This is all this is. It's sort of like dating, although I'm not gifted at dating. I do this every time I get on an international flight. Is I engage with the people at the front, and I'm always like, hey, you know what? If there's an open seat in business class, feel free to drag me forward. It's probably going to happen one day when I ask, or especially with what's going on. But the thing is, if I just go back into cattle class, because I don't have that much money to fly first class yet, if I don't ask, I'm not going to get. And there's some things that happen, like if you want more wine or something like that, like just ask for it. Like I usually ask, hey, can I get a beer for right now? And can you also give me a second one? They're technically not supposed to do that, but you just have to position out, hey, to save you time so you don't have to come back, can I get another beer? And they'll be like, sure, fine, why not? If you don't ask, you don't get. And if you want somebody to help you out, Jade's on the call, and Jade attended her first ever trade show in 2019. Is that right, Jade?
Yes. Yes.
And how awkward, because I went to the trade show with her to like support her because she hadn't quite, I hadn't beat her over the head with asking for things. And Jade, you saw me do this to your potential customers, right?
Yes.
Like I would do things, they'd be like, they would order 9 items from her. And I'd be like, well, you know what? 9 is a really odd number. I really like double-digit numbers. So what other one do you want to add to it to make it a double digit? And what did they do, Jade?
Add another one.
Yeah, they added another one. They're like, wait, 12 is a really lucky number for me. And then they did 12. Why did they do that? Just because we asked.
Mm.
So it's fun. I think these things are fun. I don't know. It's a little bit weird. So, and we also I think we got other stuff for free while we were down there or discounted just because we asked. So
yeah, it got easier the more you did it too. I think from day one, it was really awkward. And then by the end we were all, it was easy. It just did it. It's no problems at all. So.
Yep. So I don't know. I think this process is fun. I think it's great. So.
That's really cool.
Right.
I want to highlight some of the comments. So Galaxy said, ask, and I'm still intrigued with who you actually are, but ask for help with someone and make somebody feel empowered and share a laugh. I absolutely love that. And then Davina says, can I ask an absurd question? Davina, what do you mean by that? Do you want to ask, is that what you're going to do with the challenge? Or do you want to ask us an absurd question?
Oh, that's a part of the challenge. I like the dinosaur drawings.
Oh, yeah. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great idea. If you're like, oh, I can't ask anybody, order something from Domino's. By the way, their value pizzas are $5 or something like that for a large pizza. In the additional comments, ask for a poem. Ask for something. Like, why not? What's the worst that's going to happen? You're not going to get the poem. You weren't going to get the poem anyway. Just ask. And then whatever you all ask for the next 7 days, we want you to post and tag the Smart Hub with whatever your outcome is. And then we can like come back in a month and we can be like, Steve, how many donations to your kids' soccer league did you get? Or Davina, like what crazy things did you ask? Like, let's make this into a competition. Why not?
That's a really cool idea. Is everyone kind of happy to do that? We do the 7-day ask challenge on the Smart Hub page. So just tag us in your asking outcomes. Let us know how we go, and then we will we can have a conversation online, and then we, as Daniel said, we'll get back in for 7 days, and then we'll see how we went. Yep. I'm just looking at the. Yeah, you go.
I'm going to do this myself. So my current lease in this place ends on August the 8th. So I'm going to be I'm either going to be sleeping in a caravan park or something like that. So my next ask is I'm going to get back on Airbnb. I've already got my list of places I want to live around, and I'm just going to message people that exact script. Hey, there's nothing I know we can do together. Hey, and I'm just going to write it out there. And you know what? I will publish the results. I will see how many people will discount me for the next month or 2 that I want to live in and around this region. I'll do it too.
Lovely. That's awesome. Hey, Jenny, it's you. Hello. So good. The Galaxy person has revealed her identity, and it's Jenny. Hey, Jenny, it's wonderful for you to join us. And Jade, absolutely. So Jade has made her first ask, and she's asked for everyone on the Zoom call as well as everyone on Facebook to please follow her on Instagram or on Facebook at 2 Green Stones. That's her fashion brand. And honestly, she's got beautiful, beautiful pieces. So please follow Jade. Is there anyone else who wants to hop on and do a very, very quick ask? We have 3 minutes, so you can start the asking right now. And while we wait for people to ask, I want to highlight again what Courtney said. Courtney, you're going to ask internally for something. Good luck. Good luck. I don't know what it is, but I know that that can be a challenge. Good luck. Okay, and there's Jade's website too in the comments, and I'm sure that Court will put the same website and the social media handles in the comments on Facebook as well. Now, I think it is almost time to wrap up. So if we have any final comments, Andrew, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, thank you for joining us on Zoom. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Our next Lunch and Learn will be in August, and it's all about leadership. I think what's becoming extremely clear to me is that leadership is what is going to bring us out of our current new normal into what could be a really, really bright future. And so we're going to put spotlight on leadership, what it is and how to do it well. And we hope to see you there or here for our August Lunch and Learn. Please watch our socials for all the marketing material or watch your inbox. And if you're not registered, if your email address is not in our database, so you're not receiving any emails from us, please feel free to add that in the private messages in Facebook or on the Zoom comments, and we'll be sure. But I think everyone on the Zoom call, we have your email addresses, but we'll be sure to communicate with you directly. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Johnson. It was wonderful having you on board again. And also watch out, we're doing a Hub Live with Daniel in a few weeks. Looking forward to that one as well. So take care and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.